Hello, I'm markeedragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and I'm going to talk to you today about $250,000 and $500,000 lost. So, I had mentioned before that in my entrepreneurial activities, I have made some bad choices in the past. And so I've been encouraged by several people after mentioning those that they would like to hear the stories behind these. So I guess let's start with the $250,000. The $250,000 one is video game related. And this is back in the day when World of Warcraft was in near the end of its first year of retail. And it had quite a big following of people who were wanting to buy, sell, and trade used or pre-played WoW accounts. And we were at Trust2, we were doing, this is something that's not done there anymore. Trust2 now no longer supports this, so don't think that they do. And don't think that I do either, because I don't do anything that violates the terms of service of the games anymore. If we want to do stuff like this, we talk to the game companies and we figure out how to do it within their rules. But what we were doing back then was buying and selling of World of Warcraft accounts. And we were working with another company that I will not name who they are. We were working with them to do the anti-fraud verification, because without anti-fraud verification on transactions like this, you lose about 50% of the transactions. Very scary market. So we were providing all of the transaction stuff, and we were making, I think that we were making, around 15 or 20% is what we were charging to do this. So it wasn't a huge amount. And it was enough, though, that we could make some money off of our services. And so we had sold $292,000 worth of accounts. Or not we sold, they had sold, and we processed all the transactions for them. Now, here's where I made the mistake. The mistake is that I had never done this for another company before, and I was really anal about wanting to have full control over the PayPal account, because really the PayPal account is kind of the center of where the fraud happens, and it's where you need the center of control to effectively weed out all of these fraudsters. And so I insisted, wrongly I now know, I insisted that I own the PayPal account. And so we were just moving the money through for them, and then we were sending them payments every few days of whatever was left over after our charges. I actually didn't trust them very much either. I thought that maybe they would skip out on paying us, and we couldn't afford to do this much work and not get paid for it. So what happened was they sold $292,000 worth of accounts in a period that was not more than a couple of months. It was really incredible how quickly they were able to sell these accounts. And then one day, Blizzard paid attention to them, and they figured out some sort of common denominator with every single one of the accounts that they sold. And Blizzard went through and said, this is a violation of the terms of service. We are going to ban every one of these accounts. So what happened was, in one day, bam, all of the accounts were banned. Every single one of them. We even had accounts in there that people paid thousands of dollars for. And so we had this banning happen. And it then we had all of these people that said, or I believe Blizzard sent out a letter that said something to the sort of, because you bought this account, it's a violation. And they somehow encouraged people to get their money back because it was a violation of the terms. And what happened is about 90% of the transactions reversed in the same day. Now, mind you, I owned this account, and when you get a reversal, what happens is the disputed amount is then automatically deducted from the account, and it goes negative if you don't have enough money in there. Well, since I insisted on owning the account, and we had paid out the remaining money to the shop owner, and my account went almost $250,000 in the negative in about 24 hours. That is a holy shit moment. And that is a moment when you just sink to the bottom of your chair and you go, oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, really think about it. All of a sudden, $250,000 is gone. Now, at the time, with our company, we probably had, I don't know, around $200,000 in stock with our other companies. And, we had some money in the bank and stuff. But what I realized is at that moment that if we had to pay that $250,000 back, that it would kill my other companies. Because that's the only place I had the money to draw the money from. And so I called the store owner, and they're like, "Dude, we don't have that money either. We've been turning it over. We've been using that money to rebuy more accounts, and so they don't have that money either." And that was a very sinking feeling. I mean, it was almost like instant depression. You think about that for a few minutes, and you go, man, what am I going to do? One of the things that we did, where did I put it, is I looked through my no-brainer, which I mentioned in another video, and I'll put a link to it in this video. And the no-brainer is a innovation tool, but it's a problem solver as well. And so we started going through that a little bit, and we came up with the idea, okay, we need help for this brainstorming portion of all of our staff. Closed all the everything down and said, everybody, meet us for a company meeting in 1 hour, and we're all going to discuss this problem, and we're going to figure out a solution. Well, we figured out that really, due to my mistake, we were the victim as well, and that we just had to honestly try and work with each one of these purchasers to see what we could do to resolve to resolve all these disputes. And so what we came up with was that we would offer people a 10% refund if they would drop the dispute, or we would give them a new account code for WOW for every account that they had purchased. Now, that doesn't seem like a whole lot of money, and I'm sure if you were one of the people who bought that, you would think that's not very fair. I personally sat down and started making phone calls. I think the other staff did as well, but I remember that I did a lot of phone calls to each and every one of these customers and explained to them the mistake that I had made, apologized to them for what has just happened, for them losing the account and losing the money, and letting them know that we were trying to do honest business, which they understand that. And that out of our money, not from the store owner, but out of our money, we were going to take and give them a 10% refund or the new account code. And that was all we had to offer. And if they would drop the dispute, say it was resolved, that we would honor our end and we would do that. And to our surprise, over 90% of the people took us up on that offer. Some told us to go to hell, but over 90% of the people took us up on that offer. I was so thankful for that. That could have been the death of all of my companies, and it was it was through honest interaction with the customers and letting them know, and sharing our mistake and everything, that we were able to get through that. And that is that is what I call very expensive education. I know we got out of it with only paying out about $20,000. And that to me is pretty amazing, because it could have been so much more that we lost. And if I had just ignored it, PayPal would have sued us, and they would have had rights to the money, and they would have just taken it right out of the business. So we, had to work on a creative solution and see what we could do, and that's what we came up with. So I know that story is kind of long. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a part 1 and part 2. You're just going to have to wait for me to tell about the $500,000 loss for another video that will appear sometime after this, because I'm looking at the time. And I don't have enough time to adequately tell the next story before I have to go on to my next thing. So, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I will post the $500,000 loss sometime in the near future. And we'll take it from there. It'll be really exciting. It's about the limo industry. Yeah. I don't know if you know it. I used to own some badass limos. Oh, you know what? I'll get some pictures of them and I will show them in that video as well. So, I'm markeedragon. Take care.
You should subscribe to his channel because he's going to give away the sword.
So tell me, if you won this sword, what would you do with it?
Oh my goodness. I would be in 7th heaven to begin with. Then I think I would pick a place in my house that was probably where everyone would see it and hang it on the wall.
Wow. This is how much you love the game?
I love it. I love it more than any other game.
Do you know what game we're talking about?
Well, I can pretend, can I?
Okay, so everybody subscribe.
Just look at this. Yes, subscribe.
Yep.
And you may be the winner of this beautiful sword. Check it out.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay.